Stop for a moment. Breathe. Not the shallow breath that carries worry, but a full breath that fills your lungs and reminds your soul who you are. I am not speaking to the part of you that balances bills or checks phone notifications with restless hands. I am speaking to the silent architect within you, the one who remembers long before fear ever existed. You were never born to chase, to compete, or to beg. You were born to declare. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the world is a mirror polished by our words. Each phrase, each tone, each belief echoed through speech becomes a sculptor of experience. Money, opportunity, and peace are not distant stars we must reach. They are obedient servants awaiting the sound of a confident voice. When you speak from divine alignment, reality doesn't resist, it rearranges. Imagine money not as something to earn, but as a current that recognizes the sound of faith. When you whisper confusion, it trembles. When you speak with certainty, it rushes toward you like the tide answering the moon. The spiritual law Florence described is older than currency, older than nations, older than even the fear that guards our logic. It is the law of the spoken word fused with the law of instant manifestation. You are not a beggar in front of destiny's gate. You are the gate. The words you release are the keys that swing it open. The world doesn't respond to your need. It responds to your command. Each syllable carries a signature frequency, and when that vibration aligns with divine truth, creation itself salutes. The invisible becomes visible. The unseen becomes tangible. Say it now quietly in your heart. Money is not my ruler. It serves me because I speak from truth. Let that idea rise like sunlight through fog. For centuries, people have worshipped struggle as if exhaustion were proof of virtue. They called it hard work, sacrifice, hustle, yet the soul never agreed. The universe was not built on exhaustion. It was sung into being. Every star, every wave, every heartbeat followed a command spoken in certainty. You were made in that same image. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "Your word is your wand." When your word carries fear, it conjures delay. When it carries conviction, it conjures abundance. The difference between poverty and prosperity is not luck, nor status, but tone. Do you speak as a petitioner hoping to be chosen, or as an heir remembering your inheritance? You do not have to fight for the divine flow. You align with it by sound. Speak to the atmosphere as if lack never existed. Don't describe the problem, announce the order. Don't ask how, command harmony. The universe does not require your struggle, only your agreement. Think of a finely trained instrument. It does not play correctly because you beg it to. It responds because you strike the right note. So it is with wealth. Money is a neutral instrument. It vibrates to your pitch. If your tone wavers with doubt, the melody collapses. If it steadies with knowing, the symphony begins. Pause again. Feel your breath become deliberate. Inhale certainty. Exhale the myth of earning. Let the rhythm of divine law pulse through you. Speak with me now, not to impress, but to remember. I command divine substance to align with my voice. That is not arrogance. It is accuracy. You are not small. You are the voice through which creation confirms itself. Every decree you make in faith sets unseen particles into choreography. The command doesn't travel through time. It arrives instantly in the field of potential, organizing matter according to your tone. This is not superstition. It is spiritual physics. The universe has been waiting for you to stop explaining your fear and start announcing your authority. You have rehearsed scarcity long enough. You have narrated struggle as though it were scripture. But today, language bends back to its original design, as the bridge between the unseen and the seen. When Florence Scovel Shinn spoke about the law of prosperity, she wasn't teaching greed. She was teaching governance, mastery of vibration, dominion of tone, and responsibility of speech. The wealthy soul does not hoard, it harmonizes. The moment your word aligns with divine rhythm, abundance becomes not pursuit but reflection. Take another breath. Speak slowly within. Money, you are divine substance. You obey my voice. Feel how strange and powerful it sounds. That strangeness is centuries of programming dissolving. Humanity has been hypnotized into believing that worth must be earned, that divine supply must be chased. But the truth has never changed. The word creates before the work. As you let these truths settle, imagine yourself standing before a still lake. Each word you release is a ripple that returns multiplied. If you whisper fear, turbulence comes back. If you whisper power, clarity returns. You have always been both the voice and the echo. The shift happens the moment you claim your origin as a creator, not a struggler. From this day forward, speak not from need but from knowing. Every breath can be a decree. Every sentence, a seed. Every tone, a blueprint. Florence's timeless principle is simple yet fierce. Speak with faith until the invisible bows. So now, let the silence after these words be full of decision, full of calm command. The law is listening, and it never delays. There comes a moment when you stop trying to fix your life and begin to speak to it. Not with panic, not with force, but with that sacred calm that only authority knows. When Florence Scovel Shinn taught about divine law, she wasn't asking anyone to pretend. She was reminding us of how creation truly works, that words are not just sounds, but signatures of energy that sculpt form out of the invisible. Every time you say, I can't, the universe nods in agreement. Every time you say, I can, the same universe begins to reorganize itself to prove you right. It's not about arrogance. It's about resonance. You are never ignored. Your words simply become commands that the invisible must obey. Money, love, opportunity, they are not moral judges. They are mirrors. They return what your vibration declares as true. If you believe life is against you, it becomes a storm. But when you declare that life is for you, that all of heaven rushes to meet your command, then even the storms become winds that carry your ship. Imagine standing before your own reflection and finally realizing that you are not the one being tested. You are the one giving the instructions. Florence said, the game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy. That means you're never waiting for luck. You're witnessing your own words circling back. The tongue, when aligned with divine truth, is the most powerful instrument on earth. It opens paths, heals, creates, multiplies. But when it trembles with doubt, it divides, delays, and dissolves its own miracles. That's why the spiritual discipline of speech is sacred. Every decree you make must come from faith, not from the residue of fear. Speak as one who has already received. Not, I hope abundance finds me, but, I welcome abundance because it recognizes my tone. Not, I'll try to manifest, but, it is already done. Heaven hears certainty, not rehearsal. You don't have to scream for the divine to listen. You only have to stop contradicting yourself. Florence Scovel Shinn revealed that divine law doesn't respond to anxiety. It responds to agreement. When your words and your inner belief say the same thing, reality has no choice but to follow. This is the true secret of manifestation. Not endless repetition, but alignment. When your outer voice and inner conviction shake hands, the world bows. Now pause for a moment. Think of how many times you've spoken about money like it was a stranger, something unpredictable, unstable, maybe even dangerous. Yet the moment you speak to it as if it's a faithful servant of divine order, it listens differently. It no longer hides. It no longer resists. It returns, eager to serve the voice that finally remembered who commands it. So say it now, slowly, with awareness. Money, you are not my ruler. You are my ally, my instrument, my obedient energy of good. You flow easily, peacefully, divinely. Let the words fill the space around you. The air itself starts to vibrate differently when truth enters it. You see, the shift happens the moment you stop narrating your lack. Each time you repeat your problems, you give them a voice stronger than your decree. The universe cannot amplify confusion. It only echoes clarity. If you say, I don't have enough, creation says, as you wish. But if you say, everything I need appears at the perfect time, creation says the same. Stop reporting your fear and start commanding your fortune. Money does not obey the noise of panic. It obeys the music of certainty. Speak as Florence would have spoken, with quiet dominion, with grace, with a knowing that divine law cannot fail. This is why you must speak before you act. Speak before you check your account. Speak before you make a plan. The word precedes the form. When your tone becomes law, your world becomes reflection. And now, to everyone watching this, take this moment to engage not just with the video, but with your own declaration. If this message has stirred something within you, let your voice be part of the current. Type in the comments, "I command abundance with divine authority." Don't just type it, feel it. Let it become a contract between your spirit and your world. And if you can feel Florence Scovel Shinn's wisdom awakening something ancient inside you, that reminder that your word is your wand, then subscribe to this channel right now. But not out of routine. Do it as a declaration that you are choosing to live by divine law, not human limitation. Because this isn't about following another video. This is about building a community of voices that remember their power. Voices that decree instead of doubt. Voices that lift others instead of repeating fear. Every like, every comment, every share is not just engagement. It's an echo of a new collective vibration. If you've ever felt that your words don't matter, let this be the moment that changes that forever. The universe has been waiting for you to speak differently. Not softly, not fearfully, but faithfully. So now, breathe again. Inhale your authority, exhale hesitation. The law is listening. The moment you align with divine certainty, your reality shifts in silence. There's a quiet revolution that begins the moment you stop treating money as a mystery and start speaking to it as a living vibration of divine order. You are not trying to convince it to appear. You are reminding it where to go. Florence Scovel Shinn often said that the universe is like a perfectly obedient servant. It follows directions, not emotions. When you speak with fear, you send chaos as your messenger. When you speak with faith, you send clarity. Money is energy organized by consciousness. It doesn't emerge from your job, your clients, or your investments first. It flows from the invisible realm of divine supply that Florence described as ever-present substance. That means abundance isn't something to earn. It's something to remember. When you remember your spiritual identity, wealth simply mirrors that recognition. Imagine for a moment that your words are not requests but assignments. When you say, "I command divine provision," you are not begging, you are issuing a sacred order. The invisible forces of creation begin to assemble resources in perfect alignment with your decree. The law is impartial. It doesn't care whether you believe in scarcity or abundance. It simply echoes what you decide. Now think about how many people spend their lives describing what's missing instead of declaring what's promised. They say, "I'm broke," and the divine mirror reflects, "broke." They say, "Money is hard," and the reflection becomes a struggle. But when one voice, steady, certain, pure, says, "Money flows to me easily under divine grace," the invisible rearranges itself with mathematical precision. Florence Scovel Shinn called this the law of substitution. You must replace every statement of lack with a declaration of law. When you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," change it instantly to, "It is easy for divine supply to cover this in perfect order." Each substitution shifts your vibration from human reasoning to divine remembering. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel yourself sitting at the center of an endless field of potential. Every possibility is here, every figure, every opportunity, every resource. They are not far away. They are waiting for the sound of your decision. The moment your tone aligns with truth, energy begins to move. The molecules of matter lean toward the voice of dominion. Say it with calm conviction. "Money, I bless you. You are divine energy. You serve my purpose in peace and harmony." You see, blessing multiplies what complaint diminishes. Every time you curse your finances, you lock the door from the inside. But gratitude, spoken from authority, flings the doors open wide. Florence used to say that you cannot hold on to resentment and expect wealth to stay. The energy of abundance travels through forgiveness, not frustration. When your tone is free of bitterness, supply finds no resistance. That's why the greatest preparation for prosperity is peace. The modern world teaches hustle. Divine law teaches harmony. You are not in competition with anyone. The universe is infinite, and what belongs to you cannot be taken. Your only task is alignment. Your wealth doesn't come by climbing a ladder. It comes by standing in truth. The moment you stop trying to get and start to command, the vibration of lack dissolves like fog under sunlight. Now, if you're listening to this and something inside you is whispering, "Yes, this feels true," that whisper is the voice of remembrance. You're not learning. You're remembering a spiritual law that has been asleep beneath generations of fear. Florence Scovel Shinn's teachings were never about greed. They were about the end of anxiety. The goal isn't to pile up things, but to live so deeply in alignment with divine flow that supply becomes as natural as breath. Say this again, softly but firmly. Money, I recognize you as divine intelligence in motion. You move in perfect order and respond to my certainty. Feel the difference. You're not trying to make it happen. You're authorizing it. The law doesn't need your effort. It needs your clarity. Do you understand now why Florence said, "Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals but doubt and fear"? Every time you doubt, you pause the law. Every time you believe, you release it. Faith is not hoping that it might happen. Faith is knowing that it already has. Let's take this even deeper. The words you speak are not just commands to the world. They are codes to your subconscious. When you say, "I am abundant," your nervous system listens. Your cells begin to relax. The body that once braced itself for struggle begins to open for reception. The shift isn't just spiritual. It's biological. So, let's practice this divine conversation together. Speak as if you are addressing an old friend. Money, I welcome you with peace. You serve my good, and through me, you serve the good of all. When that vibration becomes natural, money loses its tension. It becomes flow, not friction. Now, before we move forward, pause and reflect. Have you ever noticed how your energy changes when you stop chasing and start commanding? That's not imagination. That's the realignment Florence described as the healing of consciousness. You are not fixing the external. You are reordering the internal, so the external must follow. And if these words have awakened something deep in you, if your soul is remembering its language of authority, then stay connected. Subscribe to this space, not out of habit, but as a declaration that you are joining a community of spiritual architects. Leave your comment below. I speak with divine authority. Let us see your decree written in light across the page. Tell us what moment in your life proved that words have power. Maybe a prayer that became reality. Maybe a sentence you spoke that shifted everything. Share it. Your story might be the spark that helps someone else remember who they are. Because this isn't just about speaking wealth. It's about speaking truth. It's about becoming the echo of divine certainty on earth. When we speak together, the vibration multiplies. The law recognizes agreement, and abundance accelerates. Breathe now. Let the air carry faith deeper into your lungs. Feel peace replacing pressure. You are the voice, not the echo. You are the command, not the request. Divine law has already heard you, and it is moving in your favor. There is a sacred rhythm hidden in every act of creation, and it begins with agreement. Florence Scovel Shinn called it the law of divine accord, the harmony between what you speak and what you believe. Nothing in the universe can manifest until the inner and outer voices sing the same song. You can repeat affirmations all day, but if your subconscious whispers the opposite, the law pauses, waiting for unity. Agreement is not repetition. It is alignment. You cannot say, "I am rich," while secretly believing you are unworthy and expect the law to move. The divine is not fooled by noise. It responds to resonance. The words you speak out loud must be mirrored by your silent conviction. When the two become one, reality rushes to obey. Imagine two instruments tuning to the same note. When one vibrates slightly off-key, the sound wobbles. But when both align, a single tone fills the room with clarity. That is the power of the law of agreement. Heaven and earth, your conscious command and your inner expectation, must vibrate together. When they do, manifestation is not gradual. It is immediate. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote that faith never argues. True faith doesn't debate with appearances. It declares the invisible truth until the visible rearranges itself. If your circumstances shout, lack, your tone must remain unmoved. Say, this appearance is temporary. Divine supply is permanent. Every declaration is an act of remembrance, not trying to make truth happen, but remembering that it already is. You see, the human mind is trained to report, not to rule. It loves to describe problems, the balance in the account, the number on the bill, the news on the screen. But your spirit wasn't designed to report, it was designed to command. You are not here to comment on what exists. You are here to rewrite it. The moment you stop talking about money and begin to talk to it, your tone shifts. That tone is everything. The spiritual universe is voice-activated. It doesn't respond to effort, it responds to sound. And not just any sound, but the sound of authority born from peace. When you speak with calm certainty, the law recognizes your signature. Practice this right now. Breathe deeply. Feel the air move through you like a current of order. Then say, money, I no longer chase you. I welcome you home. You belong to the rhythm of my life, flowing easily, guided by divine intelligence. Do you feel how that sounds? It carries no desperation, no hurry, no tremor of doubt. That is the tone that Florence meant when she said, your word is your wand. Not the frantic word, not the needy word, but the serene decree that knows it's already done. So many people try to manifest from a place of noise. Too many words, too many worries, too much repetition with no conviction. The universe doesn't measure how long you speak. It measures how true your tone feels. A single sentence spoken with pure authority outweighs 1,000 anxious affirmations. Your tone is your signature in the invisible. Fear has a sound. Doubt has a sound. Faith has a sound. The law does not read your intentions. It hears your vibration. Every sentence you speak becomes a code that programs the unseen. Florence Scovel Shinn compared the divine to a mathematical principle. Exact, impartial, and instant. It doesn't delay because it's slow. It waits because you're divided. The moment you align, it acts. That's why manifestation feels like magic to some, but it's just mathematics to the awakened. Two frequencies meet, agree, and creation happens. You might say, but I've been speaking abundance for months. Then I ask, were you commanding or performing? Were your words soaked in certainty or laced with doubt? The universe distinguishes the tone, not the language. It doesn't care how poetic your affirmation sounds if your energy whispers the opposite. So here's your practice. Before you speak, still your mind. Align your breath. Drop your shoulders. Let peace become your foundation. Then decree. Don't repeat like a robot. Declare like a ruler. Say it once, feel it completely, and trust that it is so. The divine law is immediate, not eventual. And if at any moment you feel fear rise again, don't panic. Fear is only faith pointed in the wrong direction. Turn it around. Redirect your tone. Speak with the same passion, but now aligned with truth. Florence Scovel Shinn called this reversing the current. You don't fight fear. You repurpose its energy toward certainty. Now let's return to the heart of this message. The conversation between you and the substance of wealth. Money is not judging you. It's listening. It wants clarity. It doesn't understand worry. It understands authority. When you speak clearly, it organizes. When you hesitate, it waits. Say this with me slowly. Divine supply, I call you into visible form. You respond to my certainty and appear in perfect timing. My voice is law in the field of abundance. Each word you utter is a design. Each tone is architecture. The invisible becomes obedient to your alignment. Florence's brilliance was to remind humanity that life is not a courtroom of punishment, but a stage of demonstration. You demonstrate your belief every time you speak. If you believe in struggle, you demonstrate struggle. If you believe in grace, you demonstrate grace. The law doesn't judge. It simply mirrors. So today, decide what you want to demonstrate. You are the director, not the extra. You are the composer, not the audience. You are the decree made flesh. Every part of creation waits for your cue. Now, take this message into your life. Speak to your day before it begins. Speak to your work before you start. Speak to your finances before you open your account. And remember, the tone of peace is stronger than the noise of panic. You are no longer a voice of fear. You are the sound of divine law remembering itself through you. The word that leaves your mouth is not a wish. It's an order written in light. Let these truths echo in your spirit as you move forward. And if something in this message has stirred you, if it feels like Florence Scovel Shinn herself just whispered through time, then take this as your sign to declare your agreement publicly. Write in the comments below, "My voice and my belief are now one." Share it with conviction. And if this space has become a sanctuary for your awakening, join this community. Subscribe not for entertainment, but for evolution. Each time you do, you help build a chorus of voices reclaiming their divine tone. Together, we're remembering that creation listens to us. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Let the final breath of this block carry certainty. The divine hears you. It always has. Take a deep breath, slower this time. Feel it filling not just your chest, but your awareness. That breath is not air alone. It is proof of divine rhythm moving through you, the same rhythm that turns unseen energy into visible form. Florence Scovel Shinn said that nothing can resist the spoken word when it is aligned with spiritual authority. The moment you speak from certainty, the entire structure of reality bends toward your decree. You are not waiting for permission to prosper. You are remembering that prosperity is the natural consequence of divine alignment. The very laws that hold planets in orbit respond to the same principle that governs your voice. The voice of man and the voice of God are not separate when spoken in faith. You are not just a human trying to earn abundance. You are the channel through which abundance expresses itself. Say this slowly, letting every word settle. I no longer chase opportunity. I authorize it. I no longer plead for provision. I expect it. I no longer describe what is missing. I decree what is mine. These are not affirmations. They are verdicts. In the spiritual courtroom, your word is the ruling. Money recognizes your tone because it was designed to obey spiritual command. The reason it hides from some and flows to others has nothing to do with worthiness. It has to do with mastery of vibration. Fear lowers your frequency. Authority stabilizes it. The one who speaks from divine peace cannot be ignored. So let's turn this truth into a living exercise. Imagine yourself standing in a vast golden space, endless, luminous, silent. You are surrounded by everything you've ever desired, not as fantasies but as unformed light. Each possibility waits for your voice. When you speak, the light takes shape. When you hesitate, it hovers, unfinished. Now declare, light, take form as wealth. Substance, reveal yourself as provision. Energy, manifest as peace, opportunity, and perfect flow. As those words leave your mouth, feel the stillness shift. The universe has no choice but to respond, because divine law is not sentimental. It is obedient. Florence Scovel Shinn called this the art of spoken precision. You do not speak to impress. You speak to direct. Your tone becomes the compass that guides the invisible into form. If your tone wavers, the compass spins. If it stands firm, the path appears. This is why true manifestation is never frantic. It is deliberate, measured, confident. The universe is not moved by panic. It is moved by clarity. When you stop begging and begin declaring, you switch from turbulence to command. You become the calm in the storm, the still point around which all things revolve. That is dominion, not control born from fear, but order born from divine remembrance. You are not asking for miracles. You are activating them. Every time you speak in alignment, you issue an invisible blueprint. The atoms of your world rearrange accordingly. The divine does not delay. It awaits your signal. Now, think of the story Florence shared of people who shifted from despair to demonstration the instant they spoke truth instead of fear. The widow who blessed her empty purse and found it filled. The artist who declared perfect success and watched opportunity knock within hours. They didn't change their luck, they changed their language. That same law lives in you. You are the heir of that principle. And every word you speak today becomes a seed in the soil of eternity. If you plant faith, you harvest proof. If you plant fear, you harvest delay. The soil never decides. It simply grows what you plant. So plant with purpose. Speak as though your words will be carved in the air itself, because they are. Every sound carries an echo that never disappears. Speak wisely. Speak powerfully. Speak beautifully. Florence's legacy is not ancient. It is eternal. She gave the world the reminder that divinity is practical, that heaven's laws are exact, that your word is the lever that lifts your world. From this moment, stop measuring your reality by what you see. The visible is the echo, not the origin. If the numbers in your account do not match your decree, don't panic. Speak again. Every master repeats truth until the visible surrenders. Say it until your tone no longer trembles. Say it until your breath matches your belief. Say it until the unseen bows to your authority. You are not a victim of economy, destiny, or chance. You are the decree that builds your destiny. When you speak from divine certainty, you stop waiting for validation. You know. And knowing is the highest vibration of faith. Now place your hand gently over your heart. Feel the pulse there, steady, faithful, unbroken. That rhythm is divine confirmation. It is the universe whispering, "Yes, I heard you." That beat is not just blood. It is the echo of your own creation moving through flesh. You have already spoken. The law has already moved. So let this be your closing affirmation. My word governs my wealth. My tone commands my world. My voice is the bridge between heaven and earth. I speak, and it becomes. And as you listen, remember, this isn't performance. This is participation in divine law. Each word is a contract. Each breath, a signature. The money, the peace, the opportunity, they are all signatures awaiting your pen. You hold it now. If you've reached this point and your spirit feels lighter, if you sense that ancient remembering awakening inside, then let this be the moment you anchor it. Leave a message in the comments below, not as a routine, but as a decree. I speak from divine authority. Tell your story. Tell the community what you have learned, what you felt, what began to shift. And if you felt Florence Scovel Shinn's timeless truth move through this message, subscribe not just to support, but to synchronize. Because this space is not about followers. It's about frequencies. Each time one more voice joins this current, the vibration of faith strengthens, and the noise of fear fades a little more from the collective. You are part of that movement now. A living echo of divine speech reshaping the visible world. The law is alive, awake, and working through your words. So stand taller. Speak slower. Smile as you declare, everything I require appears in divine order. Everything I speak manifests with grace. My word never returns empty, for it is aligned with eternal law. And as your day unfolds, remember this final truth. You don't chase what is already yours. You command it with love, gratitude, and authority. The money, the peace, the purpose, they all recognize your voice. Because when faith speaks, the universe listens.